Hello, it is Friday afternoon. Amazon Man is apparently a few stops away, isn't that always the way? Anyway, apparently yesterday all the fun and games of Twitch having problems, Spotify, my text-to-speech thing, all were caused by Google. So there you go. It just goes to prove no matter where you go, there's it's not too surprising because, for example, you will hear a lot about Amazon Web Services. You don't really hear of anyone else's. Now, Google do a fair bit, but 99% of people use Amazon Web Services. So, if something monumentally screws up in Amazon Web Services, everything dies. And, well, clearly, yesterday it was Google's turn. And I haven't read enough on what was allegedly the issue other than stuff reliant on Google Web Services was suffering. And, of course, my text-to-speech is from Google. So it does all tie in. It makes a lot of sense. Now, today, here in the UK, is actually a sunny day. I spent an hour sitting in the sun in the garden, which was kind of weird, because, well, we have had some warm days, but usually, by the time I've done my job, the sun's gone in, right, and by the time I start this, only kind of halfway through this, does the sun come out. That's right, it sounds like someone wheeling their bin outside. Which is a bit weird because considering bin day was yesterday. But it does mean that it is beautifully sunny out there. And, well, yes, I got to enjoy it today. Now, I didn't get to enjoy it too much because obviously I'm not used to being outside too much, so I didn't stay out for hugely long. I was out there for about an hour, sitting in the garden. I got mugged by the dogs, which, when you have bare arms, i.e., as I refer to them, I haven't got my fur on, i.e., my jumper of protectiveness, the claws don't half dig in. So, I'm a bit scratched up now. Nothing too serious, no blood, but all the same, it was very pleasant to sit in the garden, in the quiet, listening to the birds, cheep-de-cheep-de-cheep. The dogs kind of settling down for 2 seconds and then leaping like someone shot them in the butt, because, somewhere someone thought of something. So I'm just cleaning my glasses because, well, it's not like that's not a common theme of my life. So, it is time to get on with, don't need the yawns, and, moreover, I can go and put me back, can't I? I can go and put me back in the corner. There I am, look, hey! 'Tis a little warm in here, though. Just a little warm in here. I'm trying to work out. It's probably because that's kicked in. Right. Uncover the pile of stuff. Let's start with my square of depression. Alright. This square does get to me, I don't know why. I find this square so hard. It's because it's the biggest chunk, I think. Oddly. Oh, hello, Royal Legion. How you doing? Hopefully you can hear me. Problem with Windows updates and all is that it's not always possible to be sure, but hello. It says there's noise. I mean, it's moving my lips. That's always a bonus, you know. And suggesting that it can hear me. And as I say, though, it doesn't guarantee anything else, though. So those not there for a minute. I need some more pins. What do my pins? That's a really good question. Oh, there. I absolutely relate to that feeling. I was talking to a co-worker earlier and said that, because they're on holiday this week or this coming week, and I said to them, right now, the perfect thing for me would be 2 or 3 weeks in a far remote island in a nuclear bunker where I can just like chill and do nothing. Literally nothing. And you know, gotta have a decent, you know, it's just like, just not, just sit around. And I just realised I screwed that up. Idiot. Yeah, let's undo this, because I have screwed it up. Stupid cow. Right. Before you ask what I screwed up, I need to do the corners before I start the circle in the middle. And I didn't, because, well, I didn't. There's a corner. There's a corner. Now we do the bit in the middle. So yes, I very much, I mean, in around a month, I will be 53. And I am done. I want to retire. I have had enough. I am knowledgeable in my field, and I am never going to get any further than I am, because that's not the kind of place that I work at. Not particularly the company, just you know, it's not going to happen. And so, you know, it's almost like, well, so what am I striving for? The age of 53, what can I strive for? Because there was a chance I was going to be a manager, small maybe, but there was a chance I was going to be a manager, and that got passed by again. And when I say a manager, more managery than the kind of management that you do in other ways, right? Officially management, again, because I've been a manager before, but it's just that level of, so once again, you passed me over. We've now got a different manager, and because I now work for a different company, and all of that, and that's fine. But what can I strive for? I'm 53. You know, it's not like I'm 20 here. What am I going to be striving for? What, you know, actory style, what is my incentive, right? And the answer is to pay my bills. Well, it's hard to be incentivised more, you know? That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. I could grow some stuff in my garden. I'd definitely be thinking of chilies. I mean, if I was going to grow something in my garden, chilies would probably be it. Raspberries would be nice. I've got a bit of a thing for a good raspberry, especially a sun-warmed, fresh raspberry. I'm not going to pretend that that's not a problem that I can have. But yeah, I'm not. I enjoy a good sit in the garden. Sitting in the garden is nice. I don't so much enjoy spending hours making it nice. So I've got a dude who does that for me. Well, it's funny you should mention that. The guy who does my garden is only a couple of years older than me. He's not, it's not like he's, 76, nor is he 20. He is basically retired, and obviously has been for a little while. And he does gardening for spendies. Yeah, peas are easy, runner beans are easy. Marrows, anything that's ground growing gets a bit complicated because of all of the slugs and shit that tend to try and eat them. But there are things you can do. Basically, if it's off the ground, you're usually alright. So you can do blackberries, gooseberries, black currants, red currants. Strawberries tend to get eaten to hell. Beetroot tend to go okay. Got to remember my childhood was being in a market garden, so I spent my life digging up and weighing and washing and boxing up produce. So thinking of what else we had. They did a lot of marrows and cucumbers and tomatoes and things. Personally, I wouldn't. It doesn't look right. It's because it's not. I wouldn't, unless you've got a big enough greenhouse. You're not really going to do a lot with that. That seems too many. What am I doing? So that's 1 and 12. So yeah, it's if you need a greenhouse, then obviously you've got to also have a lot more thought in it, because greenhouses can overheat. You've got to keep them well watered, but not too well watered or everything rots. Things get in through the windows and then get stuck, and then of course because they're usually made of fragile glass, they can often take quite a bit of repair. But if you want to do gardening, if you want to take up being someone's gardener and helping them with their garden, yeah, I suffer a lot from that. By the time you've done your 40 hours work, you sit down at the end of the week and it's just like, and this is why, to be honest, lace making is just kind of like, I mean, there's effort in it, but it's not, it is sitting down, effort, not, digging up the garden effort. Yeah, well, and that's the other problem. The older you get, the more your body goes, no. And it is very frustrating. And as you say, you're sitting there on a Monday morning and your brain's going, yeah, we could do this at the weekend. And you're going, yeah, that'll be quite cool. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So you have a bit of a plan and maybe think about, right, well, so on Saturday, Well, if it's any consolation, I kind of had the same problem. I was getting a lot of backache, so I went to some people and they went, "Oh, you've got degenerative bone disease." Oh, cheers. Cheers for making me feel so much better. So I can relate to that one. Cheers for telling me it's not going to get any better. There's not a lot I can do about it. And cheers for the happy thought, you know. I have a... It's just one of those things, is that you find yourself sitting there going... I mean, I was talking with someone the other day. When I started work, women's retirement was 60. Now, while it's been in the news that it's gone up to 65, it's gone up to 67... No one's ever actually officially written to me and said, "Dear Miss Kimber, you're you know, just for your information, you know, the government have reevaluated the retirement age and it is now 60." Because what usually happens is that it'll be on the news for one day or one evening even. So, you know, the government will, you know, "We've decided you can all have to work till you're 80. Okay, whatever. But if you don't watch that one bit of the news, other than people talking about it, you wouldn't know. There is nothing that tells you until, you know, maybe you think, "Great, I'm going to be 60 soon. Hurrah, I get to retire. You know, I've been working for this my whole life." "Oh no, madam, you've got another 20 years. What? And I think part of my problem is that my dad retired at 50. He was dead at 71. So at least he got to enjoy 20 years of retirement. Now, I will say that my dad, like many retired people, retired, sat on his arse, did literally nothing. By the time you get there, it's probably going to be 75 or something ridiculous, you know. But, you know, my dad retired and sat on his arse watching Border Force. Frankly, that's kind of summarises every day of my father's life for nearly 20 years, right? Or something very similar to Border Force. Well, now, my dad, when he was younger, did lots of things. A bit like I do crafty things. My dad did lots of crafty things. Now, at the age of 50, there wasn't anything particularly wrong with him when he retired. He did technically, and I mean this with every kindness I can muster, and believe me, I'm digging deep to find it, retire on medical leave. How do I explain this? Someone reversed out of their driveway, hit the passenger side of his car, so it's not like they struck his driver's side, right? Probably about 10 mile an hour. My dad managed to get written off for medical. No, I'm not going to say that maybe he didn't tweak something, but, you know, really, it was like a 10 mile an hour tops crash, right? Possibly less. I mean, to be honest, I could probably kick his car harder than that. And that's got something wrong with it. So we need to revisit what we did yesterday, because, well, that's got something wrong with it. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, love my dad to bits, I truly did. But, you know, he retired and he literally, the only things he did was once a week drive to the food shop to buy some food, and once kind of food to you services were more common from food shops, my dad did that. Now, I don't disagree with doing that, because heck, even I do that. But part of that is because I'm working and I really don't fancy fighting all the Karens in the shop. Because, well, we all know it's full of, you know, screaming children and people who aren't looking. There are people with headphones on that will just walk into you and look offended. You know, don't need none of that in my life. So I kind of give that a bit of a miss and have them bring it to me. It's pretty much the only reason. But if I had to go food shopping, I'd go food shopping. It doesn't really bother me. It's at least food shopping. But my dad didn't. My dad very much didn't. And so he would go almost once a month, 20 miles up the motorway to take his car to have some work done on it, because of course it was rotting on his driveway. Now, right here, right now, I can't really comment on that because, well, you know, my car didn't work for 6 months last year, and I knew it died because I went to go out in August and it was dead, because I went to go to the hospital for a checkup, and well, it wouldn't start, so, you know, I knew it was dead, and it wasn't until February this year that I bothered to get it fixed. So let's not be pretending I am holier than thou on that front. But at the same time, it's not Mercedes. It doesn't go to a main dealer. It goes to a little man in a garage somewhere, and I get charged 200 quid, not the £1,000 odd pound for a Mercedes, people. All right. So, you know, as always, bit of, you know, a bit of common sense. I've also got a car that's small, given that there's only me. My dad, of course, had an estate car, and, you know, he would give every excuse under the sun. Oh, but my dog, I can't fit my dogs in a small car. Well, Dad, I hate to tell you, but the day you got taken into hospital, your 2 dogs fitted in the arse of my Mini. So, and you only ever talked about having one at a time. So let's not be, you know, let's be rethinking that one a little bit. But it was, right? And I love my dad dearly. I promise you I did. But, like all things, you know, he was very, very set in his ways, aren't we all? And I still can't see how this... But, you know, he you know, he would... But so, pretty much, the only time he went out was... take the dog to the vet, which was a 100-yard walk up the road. Take the dog for a walk around the park in the morning. And then he spent the rest of the day sitting watching Border Force. And, well, you know, if I sit watching YouTube, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you watch after all. If I sit watching YouTube, even playing games to an extent, these games have got a bit more interactiveness within them. Of course your body's going to break down a bit. If all you do is literally sit on your chair all day and, you know, pretty much go for a pee every couple of hours and maybe that's it, well, you know, you can't really be too surprised if your body starts kind of going, I guess we're done then, right? And so, you know, my dad then got age 65, I think it was, they diagnosed him as having asthma. Now, you don't get asthma age 65 when you've been smoking since you were 13 years old. But because the symptoms are the same as COPD, give or take a bit, and the treatment is, that you know, it is a lot easier to tell someone who's a stubborn old fart. And, you know, I'm not going to pretend that my dad and I are not made of stubbornness, so, you know, that's definitely a thing. He got told he had asthma, so, you know, he you know, but he was then convinced that everything was trying to kill him because of his asthma, right? He needed to remember I'd been asthmatic since I was young, and, Dad, I have knowledge in this area. Anyway, he, so I just need to check where these things go. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you go in here, but there's... you were the one that came out there. That's fine. So you go in there like that. And you go... bit counting to do, because obviously I didn't count very well yesterday. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, as always. 5. You come out, you come in. Like that. And, but, you know, he sat literally doing nothing other than staring at the TV, and to be honest, part of me is surprised he lasted 20 years doing that, because he'd always been quite a mentally active guy. He'd always been quite a fairly physically active guy. I'm not talking, you know, he was bench pressing 200 pound or whatever, but you know, he did have hobbies, and you know, I mean, they're not necessarily manly hobbies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, but he did do embroidery, tapestry work. He used to go and do photography. He used to, you know, do wood carpentry, a lot of carpentry. Now, sure, maybe at, you know, 70, he was feeling less inclined to do, say, carpentry, because it is quite a bit of a workout. But sitting with, you know, sitting with a frame and poking a needle through it, you can do that watching the telly. But again, it gives you a bit more to do, a bit more brain activity, a bit more, you know. Then you go, you know, you've got to go and buy bits for it, or you've got to order bits for it, and then you've got the excitement of showing people it, and he didn't have any of that. He literally watched Border Force and had nothing to say other than, that'll be the Amazon people coming, I imagine. The noise. It's the noise that gets me. It's her whining that drives me mad. But, you know, if he'd done a few more things, been a bit more mentally active, I think it would have been, he could have lived so much longer if he'd done things like got involved with something local like photography, and, you know, done a bit of a group, but he didn't. And, you know, that, and of course that his asthma turned out, as I predicted, not to be COPD or asthma, because the meds weren't helping, and it turned out to be lung cancer, which killed him. So I have a habit of predicting things well, as our current place of work will attest to. 2 weeks ago, I told them of a problem. Yesterday evening, oh look, I was right. I've been right for at least the last 2 weeks. Maybe next time someone will listen to me. I doubt it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to hold my breath. I've known these people too long. But maybe. I mean, you know, there's always a small hope, right? Oh, dear God, animals. I'm not even bringing shit for you. I'm bringing shit for me. Right. Let's put you back. Now you're sorted. And now I have you are Amazon man. Alright, hang on. Dear goodness, it looks like they've been sitting on these for a week. I mean, I've got the obligatory thing. I've got one bag that's kind of okay. Let me show you the state of the other bags. Here's one. Here's the other one. It's more like they've sat on them. Now, fortunately, there's nothing in here that will mind, but, you know, pretty much you can play drop football with it for all that matters, but, check it is what I wanted it to be, because, well, I had one order I had earlier in the week was distinctly not, which I am very pleased about. I ordered a box of Disco salt and vinegar crisps because back in the 80s, salt and vinegar crisps tend to suck your face off. Most of the crisps would taste of salt and vinegar, but there'd always be at least one crisp in there that kind of made your face pucker, right? Disco still have industrial level of salt and vinegar and are phenomenal as a result. They're a bit smaller than I thought, but that's okay. Anyway, so I ordered Discos, box of Discos, so I can nibble on them, because they are nice. Oh, ads. Stuck to my finger. I might as well open it while you're all on adverts, so, you know. Ooh, Iron Brew. That's good stuff, that is. I haven't had that for ages. I hate you. Now I want Iron Brew. I could murder some Iron Brew. Oh. No, I could definitely murder some of that. Got some stuff on my face because my face has been slightly annoying. At my age, I should have given up with the random spot, you know? And actually, what tends to happen more is my face feels more like sandpaper. Now, it's not hairs before someone makes the snarky comment. I mean, if it had been, it would be easy, right? No. It's really weird. You can look at it and it looks like sandpaper. Where all the pores are, there's like a little hard, chunky bit. So I've got some stuff, because obviously my body's doing weirdy things. Yeah. So, bear with me. I'm going to stick some of this shit on my face. What I would do, if stuff came out the top. Yeah, that's fine. Pluggety thing. Ooh, it smells funny. I know that's probably the weirdest thing to say, but it smells funny. That's fine. Wipey face. Right. That's that done. Put cap back on. There we go. Let that sit and do its thing. So yes, I was thinking about it yesterday and up came a video. You know how things do these days. A lot of things seem to know exactly what you're thinking and send you YouTube videos and short videos about crap, and you're going, I didn't even say that. But suddenly, you know, you'll be thinking about, oh, it's Aunt Bessie's birthday. Maybe, you know, I'll buy her something really obscure. And, you know, because I don't buy jewellery, I don't buy lots of things. And suddenly they'll be like, oh, she really likes, you know, I know, blue earrings. Suddenly, and you haven't said a word. And suddenly, 16 adverts for blue earrings pop up. And you're going, I only thought that. I never said that. Where did... So, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's put you back in the stick. So yeah, so I was thinking about my face and wondering what I would do about it. Because it doesn't bother me that much. I mean, when I say I get, it's not really a spot even. I get almost like a heat rash, but like one. It's really weird. Actually, while I'm at it, Alexa, fan on. Good. I'm going to turn the fan on because it is kind of warmish in it. Do with air movement. There we go, back again. Right. So yeah, now I've got you, I can do the next bit. Because now I can make the square at the end, because there are bobbins to make the square at the end with. This is the problem I have every time, isn't it, Amy? Yes. I do stuff, and then the next time I look at it, it's like, what the hell was I on? But I was concentrating. I think that's the one thing I struggle with lace making, is that, in theory, it's really simple. It really is. Proper simple. I mean, after all, only 2 moves. How much can you screw it up? Oh, beyond measure. I don't know how. I really don't. I really don't know how I do it, because, you know, it's not even like a complex knitting pattern where, you know, I've got to knit 75 stitches and do funky bits. I follow the pattern underneath. It's like, you know, it's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. Either it fits or it don't, you know, it's kind of... Never mind. That's you. One of you goes in here. That now makes 5. You get to go out the way, because well, we don't need you. It's funny, this square, much as I call it my square of despair, it's one of the few bits that I seem to screw up. I seem to scrub everything out. Maybe because often I come to it and it's the first thing I do, so I'm at my freshest, shall we call it. I just hate the fact that it's so big. And you need quite so many pairs of bobbins to do it all. Alexa, what's the temperature on the downstairs thermostat?
The downstairs thermostat temperature is 23.5 degrees.
So, 23.5 it says. In case you didn't hear. It is. Well, it is my weekend now. Well, I do appreciate you stopping by. I know that obviously time schedules between us are difficult, but it is, as always, a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to see everybody, actually, but yeah, thank you very much for coming. Sleep well, my friend. Take care, mate. weather stays for the weekend. Actually, let's have a quick check. Let's have a quick look. For it is. It would be pleasurable if it's going to be like this tomorrow. I mean, I don't mind if it rains occasionally, as long as it rains kind of in a predictable time period. So maybe first thing in the morning, and then it's sunny in the afternoon. So, daily. Oh, well, of course. Today, predicted to be 25 degrees with occasional, maybe 20% chance of showers. Tomorrow, 21 degrees, 45% chance of rain. And looking at the actual thing will probably be more helpful, Emily. So basically, overnight's going to rain. You have got to be kidding me. And all the way through to 11 in the morning, it's going to probably rain. Then it will possibly be a little warmer in the afternoon, but almost certainly quite cloudy, which it's not today. Sunday will be marginally warmer with less chance. So Sunday might be a good sitting in the garden day. But next week would have been perfect. So bagger to my co-worker who's going to Ibiza. I hope it's really hot for you, but you bastard. Leaving us with the rain like this. No. Nasty people. Nasty people. Rain expected Saturday and Sunday. Thanks a lot, Mr. Weather. It does this every time too. Because it's kind of, for those of you, for those people who are currently trapped in an office and probably not listening to me at this time, but, for all those people who are still currently working, because it's only, well, it's not even 3 o'clock here in the UK, right? They're all looking going, oh, it could be nice this weekend. Oh, I could do all of this. Oh, maybe we'll have a barbecue. Maybe we'll... Yeah, good luck with that. That's not going to be happening. Not by the looks of that. So... Now, while I am generally the, if you want to know what the weather is, look out the damn window kind of girl, because historically weather forecasting is not, it isn't entirely an exact science. We are getting better at it, but despite lots of money and effort, it's still not an exact science. Because you go to bed thinking, right, it's going to be sunny, you get up in the morning, and it's basically Armageddon level weather all day, and you're like, 2 hours ago you were telling me it's going to be, great weather all day, and now you're basically saying Noah's going to be building his ark. Well, cheers, I saw a great meme yesterday, which was, on that note, which was a lion giving reviews for a cruise that he'd been on, and he said it wasn't very exciting, but the buffet was good. There was I had 2 of everything, as he's kind of the size of an elephant, or more of a whale really, and sitting there kind of looking at little chubs for his door. So yeah. You enjoying the warms, little one? Why is it when I wanted to enjoy the warms, you didn't? No, you wanted to maul and scratch me. Yes, you did. You did the flying thing landed on me while I was trying to close my eyes, gently enjoying the warmth of the sun, and there was suddenly this low-flying dog that had landed on me, and it was brown and whiny. Yes, it was. It was a very brown, whiny dog who got really upset when I said no, didn't you? Yes, you did. You didn't enjoy not being allowed to sit on me and smother me in the warmth of the sun. I do not have a place for all three of us to lie in the sun. No, because I don't really want to lie on the mud, if that's okay with you. I know I did as a kid, and I didn't care about the ants and the beetles and the things and the weird stuff, but I'm older now, and the idea of all those things walking over my skin just gives me the creeps, so... Because now I know they're under it. Yes, I do. I know there are a lot more creepy crawlies in the grass than I ever imagined. Yes, I imagined as a child there were only snakes and moles and rats and mice. I didn't realise there were things other than worms, but I didn't realise there were beetles and ants and other weirdy things that I don't know the name of because I'm not an entomologist. No. No. There's your brother, right, just checking. He's sulking because his fence got fixed yesterday. And he had his bro crush. He is a funny little boy. My dog tends to have crushes on handymen. It's hysterical. He absolutely adores them. It's actually quite embarrassing. Because he really does adore them. It's not that he wants to hump them. He just wants to know them and love them and be in their skin. It is something that he does, or she kind of does it too, but I think it's because when they were little, everyone picked them up and pulled them in close, and they associate that with comfort and happiness. Which is not a wrong thing. Hugs are good, right? It's not like they don't like hugs. They love hugs. The problem is even when they're kind of flat baby style, so they've got like their chest against yours and legs kind of round your torso, he's not close enough yet. He needs to be closer, but there is no closer. But there is, it's almost like the only place you'd be happy is inside your skin. And I do wonder if it's because he has some distant memory of maybe being picked up by the rescue team, and maybe it was a wet day or something and they put a jacket round him so that it was like he was inside their skin. Honestly, no idea, but all I do know is close is not close enough for Rory. It's not enough. He needs more. He needs more love than that, and he wants to be part of everybody. He loves everybody. He has no discriminations. If you're alive, that's good enough for Rory, and that's a really good, happy way of being. But at the same time, when you escape and find the only people in the entire universe where there are 5 people and all of them are scared of dogs, and you want to be part of them, this doesn't help. This does not get you friends. No. These. I seriously do swear all I do is shorten bobbins. It's exceptionally rare I get to lengthen them. I haven't made any more bobbins yet either. which is playing on my mind because, well, I need to make bobbins so that we can do the strip, because basically we've got 3 strips to make to decide what we're putting as the decoration in the strips in the final thing. So it's quite a bit of work. Now, it doesn't have to be done before I finish this square. It really doesn't, because, you know, we can make the test strip on camera and, you know, we can do all of that, and we can... But at the same time, we all know how much I love Lace 8 and how much joy this program brings to me. So the idea of spending, you know, doing my strip and spending, you know, quite a time deciding how wide apart we want things, because technically there is a 4th strip to be made with the final contestants to decide if they are reasonably spaced or not. There is still just quite a lot of work to go. And mind you, today is a really good day to be making bobbins because everything will dry real fast. I might do that later, off stream, do some more bobbins. I keep saying that though, then, a bit like Royal Legion, you know, I work out that I'm actually really quite tired. I turn the TV on, lie down, fall asleep, it's bedtime, so I go to bed. And it's all over. So... Because it's not that I don't love you guys, but I do find this quite hard going. Because I'm not people, right? It's not that I hate you, because I really don't. I do appreciate all of you. I'm just not really a people person. And so being peoply takes energy. Energy that maybe I'm running out of occasionally. Especially after fighting with people all day at work, it can be quite hard to find more peoply potion to go and come and do more peoply things. Now, on the other hand, if you're all pets and all I had to do was just go blib, 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 and you'd be happy, then it probably wouldn't be so bad. That's not what I want to do. Undo, 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 think brain. Pack those around there. Pins, Amy. I have to use ones from the pot. Terror. Oh, the horrors. Having to use pins from the pot. definitely running out of pins. I've only really got a square and maybe a little bit to go. I mean, I can use the top few of those, but I really am running out of pins. Oh, that's okay. We've got pop pins, that's what it's for. It's also one of the advantages of the strip is that unlike this where you turn the corner and you've got piles of pins and then you kind of don't seem to need half of them and you've got too many and then suddenly you haven't got enough, and well, when you're doing it in a strip, once you've got going you kind of need the same amount of pins kind of no matter what, so that does help. I don't think keeping track of it will be, like I've got the triangles and whatever. I think keeping track of it like that is going to be a bit more challenging. But we will know roughly, because it's in quarters still, we should know when we get to the end, because of the way, I mean, if I grab them, because you've got like strip 1 that will feed strip 2 that then feeds strip 3. Once you change, you'll know you've changed strips, so we can mark them as quarters, and depending on how we do the decorations, we might be able to break it down by decoration, so and have almost like a thermometer that just kind of travels down a little bit. I mean, it's not quite that simple, because a bit like this you can work down that way a bit and down that way and leave it up here, or have the bit in the middle come down, so but it is an approximate thing, just like the triangles on the right here are approximate, because it's not like they show the actual triangle in progress, so it's not like it's trying to keep up stitch by stitch kind of thing. That would be too complicated. Funny how sunny it is outside, but it's not in here. I mean, it's not dark in here, but the fact that I've got this light on and it is making such a huge difference shows that it is really not that bright in here. Now, in theory, I can use a bunch of these over here, but I'll use one of them. Make a complete square first. There you go. Runaway bobbin. And another kind of runaway bobbin. Oops. Now, here you go. And you can do being a little less enthusiastic. There we go. Bobbin pop. You done. Drinky time. Master of the Depressor Square. Hooray. Gonna need to stop and drink plenty today because it is quite warm and horrid. Well, it's not horrid, but it's warm and not good for these things. The astute amongst you will have noticed that my co-worker is quiet today. This is because he's on holiday. And he's traipsing around London at the moment. So hopefully he's occupied. Now this hasn't meant I haven't heard from him. Please do understand. There's been plenty of conversation. But because he has things to do, family to do it with, he is less chatty today. Someone wants to go back out in the warms. Having a little look at the rose ground chunk here. Doesn't look like I screwed it up. Nice change. Right. Let's push down the things because that's a thing. Question, which direction to go in? I think down. Down's a good direction. course, you're too long, even though mere moments ago you were not. Still got a fairly tender finger, because as you can see, possibly it made a dent just in the kind of slightly sorer section there. So, still feeling the repercussions from that. Oh, so there's me right scratching my finger. These, even though we were working with them mere moments ago and they weren't this long, now they are. So, I promise, I swear, all I do is seem to shorten body. Rory, are you a good boy? Have you been in the warms? You have. You've been in the warms. For you are toasty, dog. You are. You're beautifully toasty. Oh, what a yawn. Is it a hard life having to do all of this waking and sleeping? And you need a snooze to get ready for your main snooze, don't you? Yes. I know these things. Good boy. Yes, you are. You are being a good boy. Oh, you need a hug. Okay. Claws, little man. Claws. Oh. Sorry, I have a lap full of dog now. Oh, Rory, you are toasty warm. I thought your head was warm. Your body's even warmer. You've been lying in the sun. Haven't you? You've been lying in the sun. And now you're toasty toast. I've eaten dinners colder than this. I have. Very much so. There's plenty of water in the kitchen. Do remember to drink a lot, won't you? Try not to puke it though. Would appreciate that. You are a little hosty dog. Your tummy, Rory. Your tummy is so warm. It is. So warm. It can't be good for you to be this warm. Really can't. No. Seriously, McDonald's burgers don't come this hot. You're hotter than a McDonald's burger. Oh, off you go. Seriously, I've had colder burgers out of McDonald's than that. Trying to make a bit more space for your kids. Truly am. Let me move my Amazon haul. There. Now there's space for doggities. What I should do, bear with me one moment, while the ads are, well actually I'll do it when the ads come, so I will get the cool mat out, or one of the cooling mats out, because these two don't tend to like the cooling mat, but at the same time would be good if they'd use it, because they are literally roasting hot. I promise you, I've had colder burgers out of McDonald's. Well, I don't go to McDonald's a lot, but I've done my fair share of McDonald's. Usually about midnight when I'm really hungry. I went through a spate of getting seriously hungry about midnight, so I'd go on a recce down to McDonald's. Not to buy a lot of food, just enough to, stop me wanting to eat the bed, And there were times that some of that was actually cold. I mean, I do mean genuinely, actually cold. It was like they hadn't even heated it at all, just taking it out of the fridge. I love how the Twitch ads sit there going, ads starting soon, and it can be like a couple of minutes before it actually gets around to them. Come on, do the ad thing and then I can... There they go. Right, let's go do the dog thing. Sorry for itself. But let's put this down here. That should help. There. Could do with a wash by the looks of it. Says Rory, who goes, I'm not sleeping on that, and goes to lie somewhere else now. Yep, there he goes. Bastard dog. Right. It's good pups. Might have to wipe it. One thing I would say is if you do struggle with the heat a lot, and like us Brits, you don't have air conditioning, one thing you can do is buy a Great Dane size cooling mat. Now I know it sounds a little bit rough, woof, ha ha ha, but due to the size of a Great Dane, the cooling mats are considerably large, which makes them basically human size, which means you and I get to put one on the bed or the couch under a sheet or whatever, and it really does take quite a bit of the heat away. I remember one year it was really hot, and it was one of those years where you expect kind of nowish the heat to be waning off, right? You expect kind of 1 till 2, maybe 1 till 3 something, to be hot, and then for it to slowly get cooler as the sun sets. Now obviously it takes a while to set, because it doesn't set till kind of like 8:30, but as the sun is no longer beating down overhead and is going behind things and all the rest of it, you expect it to cool down. Well, this was one of those years where, if anything, it got hotter after the sun went down. And there was no rhyme or logic to it, except for the fact that, say the sun was setting at 8:30, well, by 9:30 you were just breathing in and sweating out. It was horrific. And I lay down on one, only just because it was, 1,000 degrees and I needed to, was feeling a little bit hot and overwhelmed. And seriously, didn't half help. Now, the only thing I will say is, due to the fact that they're quite thin, once you've warmed up the gel on the inside, it doesn't wick it away very well. But it doesn't half help though if you need help going to sleep and the like, because obviously, well, it cools you down, but not as in a you feel cold kind of scenario. You just don't feel hot anymore. It feels okay now. You don't feel like you're heating up the thing you're lying on like you normally do. So yes, Great Dane sized cooling mats are definitely a thing and highly recommendable. If you notice, the one that's running out of thread is the only one that doesn't seem to get naturally longer. Everything else is getting longer and longer each pass. Yeah. Going out there to roast some more, really? Apparently we are. Back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's up. You're too long. You're a bit short. There. Most of you are too long. Shocker. You're running out. Okay, so you've wrapped yourself round things. Let's have a look. Some of you are still a bit long. It's fine. You are definitely done. Just take you and you. You need to cross and do. You're getting just longer and longer. Can you stop it? Not beginning to come off, so we need to extract out our cone of yarn and rendezvous some on. Now we don't need a lot, but that never stopped us. Now I know you can't see me doing this, you'll just have to take my word for it. The spool is off to my right, down by the side of the sofa. So I am doing the thing. Windy wind. So come on people, what's the weather like where you are? As I say, it's kind of warm and a bit close around here, but the sun is out. The plants are all green. They're not dead yet, so it's not too hot. Dogs are out cooking. My two are very much sun worshipping dogs, but they come in and seriously, they are hot to the touch. I mean, they're not usually cold. My dogs don't really do cold, but this level of hot really does feel like it's bad for them. Like worryingly bad for them. It's that hot. It is quite disturbing. And obviously dogs can die from heat stroke. They're dumb enough as well. I mean, there's plenty of shade because my garden's mostly shade, but there's sunny spots and they will be in them and they will stay in them and cook. And ever since his lordship's escaping antics, I find it difficult when I can't see them. Because I have this kind of paranoia that they're out in the... He's wandered off out into the world to cause trouble. And Amy. There he is. As long as you're still in the garden. Well, I've had the fence repaired, so he should be, but, you know, strange things have happened. And they Rory, eh? It is awfully warm out there. You should stay in here and cool down a bit. Go get a drink. He's getting on the mat. It's a good boy. No, you don't want to go on the mat, do you? No. Mat's big and scary and horrible. It's not, you know. It really isn't. I will wipe it down for you, though. Once we're done streaming, I'll wipe it down for you. Okay? Because it does look a little bit second-hand. Not what you did to it last time we used it. There you go. It does look more like you put your dinner on it and now it's gone a bit mouldy. Yeah, I'm not sure what you did to that. You could just go and lie on it though. You lick me, because I need them. Yes. I do. Now remember people, it is the Monsters and Memories stress test at 6 o'clock my time tomorrow, so that's in 26 hours time. Be there or be square, as the phrase goes. If you're not there, that's fine, I won't be streaming it, but, because I find streaming games very complicated, because I'm not set up for it, I'm set up for this, so, and changing all of the keywords and making everything else it's just I wish you could like, you know, record different setups for things so that when you streamed and you could go, I'm doing this kind of stream, it naturally just filled those in, but never mind. You know, I wish I could say I'm doing a gaming stream and it would put gaming tags on it, and when I'm doing crafty things, it put crafty tags on it. But no. Just do that. I have to do it all by hand, and then of course I forget. So. And to be honest, you don't need to hear me grump at gaming people. What do I mean by that? I end up helping a lot. Get lots of people who log in and go, I don't know where this is. I don't know who this is. Where would I find so-and-so? Where's this? And I tend to answer a lot of those questions. But I also get a little bit knocked off when, you know, in chat it will say, I don't know, where's the bank? So you describe where the bank is. And literally the line underneath, where's the bank? And when you say, we'll see the line above, oh, I didn't read it. Can you repeat that? Well, how about you just read it? You know, after a few hours now, I don't know how long the stress test will be for. Sometimes they're really short, sometimes they're a bit longer. But after a while, you know, you do kind of go, you know what, I need a break from you people. I need to believe that someone out there can think for themselves. And I'm not the only one, and I'm also not the only one who gets a bit kind of wound up by it. There's a few of us who do it. And it's not because we are, you know, it's not like we're devs and we know everything. It's just a case of we pay attention and some people don't. Yes. Oh. Itch. Have a bit of a scratch. So yes, 6 o'clock tomorrow my time, I will be doing that. If you'd like to join me, look out for characters with the name of Liz Biscuits. Just complicated, just accept that I'm Liz Biscuits. I will usually be an ogre. There are a couple of times I'm not an ogre, depending on which character I'm on. Mainly because that class can't be played by an ogre, so I've had to pick someone else, which is just frankly insulting. Ogre should be everything. Shouldn't be humans, it should be ogres. I'm sorry. But all these biscuits usually are me. Beware of Biscuit, who is not me, but I am Liz Biscuits. And the Monsters and Memories stress test is free to play. You can download the client and start some of the patching now. As I say, 26 hours. The gates will open and we will be about. Depending on which service they open, I don't really mind which one I'm on. So I might, you know, depending on what they're doing and what they're stress testing, of course. I may be on, if they open more than one, because sometimes they do. Sometimes they do a bit of a stress test. And they, you know, get everyone to pile into a zone and see how it's handling it. Other times they just open the server and kind of let you wander about doing your own thing. Now, it's needless to say that there are plenty of things to do. If they stick us all in Night Harbour, for example, there are plenty of things to do. And mobs to kill, and NPCs to annoy, and crafting to do, and some quests, and, you know, there is stuff to do. So, you know, you can play, but obviously the point of the stress test is not necessarily to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The point of the stress test is to give the devs the information that they require. The byproduct of that is you might be able to play. Now, obviously, if the test is not if we do manage to overload it, and let's face it, you know, we do tend to keep score, so, you know, us 1, server 0, you know, kind of thing. If we manage to kill it, then great, because that gives them lots of we know that they've got information out of that. If it doesn't feel like we're winning, so we haven't stressed the server enough, well, it's sometimes it's doubtful whether you kind of doubt whether you've been helpful enough. Worry not, it all adds up. I really enjoy helping, and I really don't mind kind of helping the noobs with stuff, But at the same time, I do get tired. So when they've done play tests, so they did play tests for like a long weekend. Yeah, I had to take a couple of breaks because I was going to tell someone what I thought of them at some point. And it's not necessarily their fault, please understand. It's just that, you know, after 48 hours of repeating, yes, the bank is here, yes, you can do that, no, that's here, no, we do not have maps, no, we do not have compasses, but you can govern by the stars, you know, repeating the same thing over and over does get a little bit wearing. And I am not Liz the patient, right? As we all know from me doing this, to be honest. So it is. But if you were ever into things like EverQuest or the very early World of Warcraft, not quite so much, but you know, the kind of pre-2000 MMO style games, then you might like Monsters and Memories. You never know. Might bring back some memories, and you go, you know what, I quite like it here. I must admit, one of the things I do like about EverQuest and that style of MMO is in World of Warcraft, you know, if an NPC's got a quest for you, there's a thing above, you know, kind of almost above its head, right? And it's like, talk to me, I've got things for you to do. And you can't, and there are so many quests to do that, you know, it basically leads you by the hand around the map. And, you know, they've then got the rested bonus so that if you had to log out for a bit, that when you come back, well, now you get double XP for a bit in proportion to your time asleep. And it means that, you know, I hadn't played World of Warcraft for ages, and I logged in, and it was just after the panda race had come in. And I was like, hey, I can be Kung Fu Panda. So, you know, great. Made a Kung Fu Panda, right? Blame me if in 3 days I wasn't 60-something. I had money coming out the wazoo, and it's like, World of Warcraft used to be hard. You know, I'm not saying it was impossibly hard, but, you know, you were usually couldn't buy all your spells when you got them, but of course now you get them free. You didn't even have to go to a trainer to get them. And it's kind of like, I'm sorry, you know, we used to have to work hard for things. You know, much as I only did an undead one, I tried doing the, I'm going to say necromancer, but she wasn't, I'm not sure that was the right word for her, but the ones where you have the voids as a pet. Now, when I played it before, you had to go and kill a whole load of them, and basically go on a proper quest. So you turn up the NPC and it goes, you know, young, whatever the hell class it was, I have a challenge for you, you know, we can give you a better thing. Whereas the undead one that I played, hi, yeah, go and stand in this square, I'll summon a thing. Spell, oh look, it's dead now. Yes, here you go, here's your spell, see you later. I died like 8 times when I used to do that, because there'd be like 6 or 7 of them spawning, and you know, they'd like spawn slowly, so you'd be killing one, and if you didn't click quick enough, the next one would appear, and eventually they'd gang up and kill you, and you know, but by the time you got to the end, you felt you properly earned your Void Walker, whereas basically it was almost like please stand in the square. What is 1 add 1? 2. Congratulations! You have now won. Really? Really? Can we not? You know. Too many of the games. I mean, to be honest, EverQuest did the same. After Sony screwed over my accounts, I hate them for that still. I did go back. My heart wasn't in it though. And I still have an account. Or 2. I think I've got 2. But realistically, I'm not overly, I don't log in them, you know, 99.9% of the time, if not greater than that. I'm trying to remember when I did last log into it, and I'm kind of struggling. But I logged in, and I you know, did the tutorial, and by the time the end of the tutorial, I was like level 12 or whatever it was, with full set of highly statted gear and a full set of spells and 100 plat in my bank account. I remember being level 40 and still struggling to have more than a couple of plat in my hand, let alone, you know, have it, and I still didn't have a full range of spells, because I'd had to, you know, my spells were costing 6, 7, 8 plat a go, and well, I could buy 2 maybe, and then for a level, and because levels came in 4s originally, not 1 per level, but I got to a point where I couldn't afford all of them, and I had to buy the ones that I thought I was going to be using. It was. Whereas with, you know, on this one, as I say, I logged in, I did the tutorial. 48 hours later, I was 65. You know, like, I've never leveled this fast, and I pretty much only did 2 zones, other than the tutorial. And you're like, I'm sorry, this just feels like handing you it on a plate. There are a lot of quests to do. That's not really a problem. I have a quest, well, it's up in the name, right? But I just found it really hard that, you know, I could just turn up, sort of thing. And you then had mercenaries, so you'd get a mercenary healer or whatever. And now they were a bit of a chicken, so if you pulled more than one thing, 9 times out of 10 they'd flee and be useless. But at the same time, if you were the healer, or you were capable of self-heal to an extent, so again, necromancers is a good one. Yeah, you got a merc as a DPS, or you know, and off you went, and you got them to take a lot of the aggro. It was like soloing, but with a friend, and you're kind of like, it's a bit like dual boxing on something, and you're kind of going. So I zoomed through it, because you got more XP because there were 2 of you. You've got, you know, you've got extra DPS, so you're killing it quicker. But you don't have the, oh, I just need to go, you know, I'm hungry, I'll be back in a bit kind of problems. You know, if you want to play for 24 hours, so will it. You know, you got to have the money for it. But, you know, early on, they're quite cheap. So, early on, they're actually free. So, you know, it was a very strange experience. Monsters Memories have brought back the original joy that I had with playing these games, in that it's hard going. It's not impossible, it's just slow, methodical, you know, kind of kill one mob at a time kind of deal game. And, you know, you can group up and go through things quicker, and, you know, people enjoy grouping. But it is that kind of aspect that you find yourself going, well, I can get lost in this for hours and not realise that hours have passed. And to me, that's a sign of a good game. So I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So I think I'm going to stop here. I know I haven't done a huge amount. It's only 2 hours, as always. Could have done more. I feel, you know, definitely could have achieved a bit more than this. But once again, I see a potential mistake, and another one, and that's the first one that we knew of. So obviously, for those who missed last time, earlier when we went down this section here, we became very much aware that there was a faux pas. Why is my button not working? Oh, for some reason it's not zooming in. I can't zoom in. Well, that's a bit pants. Why are you not zooming in? Let's see if I can do it this way then. Hang on. don't know why that would be. Let me zoom in this way then. And I need to... hang on. That's possibly nearer. I need to zoom in, and then I need to go up. That's down. For some reason, none of my buttons, my camera, are working anymore. Don't get it, so bear with me. Put that over there then. Right, so as you can possibly astutely see, there is a hole here. If you look, there's an untwisted pair here. There is a wonkily paired bit just there. But this is a bit that we worked out we'd screwed up. But the problem is to fix that, we would have had to have undone all of this, basically all the work on the triangle, and a whole load of the previous triangle to get back to this point. Because basically the thread that runs down along like this and so on, it goes all the way down that way. So it was not an easy thing we could fix, but we did try and do a bit of fudging to make it look slightly less khaki. So, you know, there is a bit of it is, but it will stand out. It will always stand out because it's yet another error in my stuff. Yeah, none of these buttons are working. I don't know why my Steam Deck's not working. Please launch Camera Hub. Well, hello, Camera Hub is there. Let me quit Camera Hub and restart Camera Hub. Please launch Camera Hub, and of course now it's not bringing up Camera Hub, is it? It's not showing as an option. It's Elgato, isn't it? Elgato Hub. Let's go out there, in here, over there, Regular Files, Elgato, Camera Hub. Camera Hub. Okay, are you going to work now? No. Well, screw you. Thanks for that, computer. Thanks a lot. Oh, there's a new version available, that's probably why. I will download that. But I think this is where we shall leave today. There aren't too many blatant mistakes, she says, trying to look on the camera. It doesn't look like I've made any screamingly obvious at this point, although, she says, that looks a bit suspicious. You look a bit suspicious. Problem is because of all the pins, I can't really see. Let me put it a bit closer. Yeah, there's something a bit odd going here, but I've got a feeling that some of that will help. Yeah, it helps. Right. Bit of tension will help. There you go. That's right, just had to straighten the table a bit. Because, you know, with all the wrong angles of the pin, it looks like there's a big hole here. There isn't. Which is, you know, definitely one of the problems. Which is, well, and to be honest, you look down on top of it, you have a better view than I do. I look at it from the side, and all I really see is the last bit of stitches along the inside of here. Everything else is just a sea of pins. So, which is why it's so easy to get it wrong, to be honest. But let me take a photo, as is customary, Wondering why that didn't open up the thing. It's because it wasn't the camera. Open up the thing. Let's take a picture of you. And on that note, I thank you for being here. I will be back tomorrow at my usual late spot. If I'm not likely to be back at my usual late spot, I will post in Discord. Hopefully !Discord will tell you where that is. Especially when I'm online. If I'm not online, there's a chance I'll have closed the app down and it won't be listening. But with any luck, that will help. And I shall see you tomorrow. So have a good evening. I hope that the weather is slightly better where you are and not quite so hot and horrible. And of course, now I can't put my camera back, can I? Let me put my camera back. Preferences. No, I don't want preferences. I want to open the camera hub. Yeah, and go back to there. Right, so I will see you hopefully tomorrow, and we shall do more things. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.